I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans. And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field. Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We could even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
Success in farming is all about precision and efficiency, ensuring every seed, every drop of water, every nutrient and treatment counts. TerraPlex Ag is helping farmers all over Iowa and the Midwest do just that. With precision ag drone technology and support from TerraPlex, you'll boost your productivity and make timely and informed decisions, all while reducing your costs and increasing your profit. It's time to revolutionize your farming. Harvest the benefits with TerraPlex Ag. Visit TerraPlexAg.com.
Chris Williams, Brent Blum, from the Wild Rose Casino Studio. It's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne, on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
What's up? They let us back here.
They did. I don't know if that's a mistake or is it going to be a good thing. I guess we'll find out later.
We had beginner's luck. We didn't screw it up the first time we filled in for Williams and Blum.
Ooh.
We'll see if that continues. I am Jake Brend, joined by Derek Duke. Chris Williams is in the Ozarks, off the grid. Way, way off the grid. I don't know what Blum's up to, but they asked if we would fill in. And we happily said yes. Thanks for allowing us again, C-Dub and Blum. If you don't know us, we host Bigger Than 12 on Iowa Everywhere. And we're going to be talking some Big 12 today, actually.
Yeah, I'm here in Pittsburgh. Jake, you're in Iowa. I'm not in my normal location either. Starting my vacation off the right way by filling in for Williams and Blum. Glad they let us back. I wasn't sure if we would come back after the last show, but once again, they gave us the keys to the Ferrari, and it's our job not to crash it, but I can't make any promise that there won't be any bumps and scratches when we bring it back, but we're going to do our best today to entertain the greatest fan base in the world.
You mentioned a Ferrari and how this show is delicate like a Ferrari. It's one of the biggest podcasts in the state of Iowa, and a lot of that is because of Mechdyne enabling discovery over in Marshalltown. Thanks to Mechdyne for being the presenting sponsor of Williams and Blum. Should we start with Tyrese Haliburton? What the Hali?
Like we got
what the Haliburton? So the Indiana Pacers are off to the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years, led by that man right there, Tyrese Haliburton, the engine to it all. They'll take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Full disclosure, I did not get to watch the game live last night. I was at Shane Gillis. I caught the highlights when I got home, and it was it played out how I expected the entire series. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I thought the Pacers were the better team. They went out and proved it, and so much of that is because of what Haliburton is able to do for others. And I'll just get into it now. He got screwed by not being the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Maybe screwed is harsh because Pascal Siakam was very worthy too. 26 points a game in the series. Very efficient. Didn't really have a bad game in the series. But to me, this felt similar to last year with Boston when Jason Tatum is the better player than Jaylen Brown, and they had pretty similar stats for the series, and they gave it to to Jaylen Brown. I don't know if it's narrative based. I know that Haliburton maybe isn't the most beloved player in the league, but we thought that was from fellow peers. I don't know if that's media. So you probably couldn't go wrong with either, but the Pacers are not where they are today. They're not in the NBA Finals. They're not even close to where they are today without Tyrese Haliburton. And I don't know if the stats will always paint that picture, even though you just got to look at Game 4 and the stats 100% painted the picture that Haliburton is the best player on Indiana.
Yeah, well, first off, congratulations to Tyrese for leading his team to the NBA Finals. I believe he's, the third Cyclone to make it to the Finals? We did a question about the fourth Cyclone to make it to the Finals. So
I saw a tweet. They're counting Abdul Nader, which I don't know about that. So third is probably right, but
that's
Nader didn't get minutes in the Finals. So
less than 5.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at less than 5. There's less than 5 Cyclones that have made it to the NBA Finals, and Tyrese is one of them. And he's leading his team doing it. So what he has done throughout the playoffs this year has been incredible. People said, as you mentioned, he was an overrated player, and all he did was prove that he's the most clutch player in the postseason. In fact, I think his late game heroics are probably some of the best in the last 25 years when it comes to the NBA playoffs alone. I can't think of a player that had so many clutch moments in one postseason like Tyrese had this year. And you know what I loved last night on social media? Did anybody see the comeback he made to Ben Stiller? Stiller was making fun of his bag, saying, good thing he brought his duffel bag for the flight to New York. And Tyrese just responded with, it was to pack y'all up. That was absolutely classic to me. That was hilarious. But you're right, 4 out of the 6 games, you look back at the stat sheet, Tyrese had 20-plus points. One of those was a triple-double, which happened, of course, in Game 4. He had 32, 12 rebounds, and 15 assists, which is that's insane. That's just absurdity. So don't get me wrong, Siakam is probably a deserving player. I don't think he should have won it. Siakam was fantastic in last night's game for Game 6 for the Pacers, but they wouldn't be even in position to be here going to the finals without Haliburton and his performances in this series. You go back to Game 1, the famous choke heard around the world. It was Haliburton who hit that big shot to send it to OT. It sucks that he didn't win the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, but you know what? He has a chance now to win a championship, win an NBA Finals MVP, which is a hell of a lot better. So,
yeah.
And just think, what a time. I thought about this morning, though. What a time for Iowa State, guys. You had Brock Purdy get his bag. He got paid. And now Tyrese leading his team to the finals for a chance to bring home a championship. It is truly a remarkable time to be an Iowa State fan right now.
Yeah, the conference finals MVP, you forget it exists until there's a controversy with it. You forget it exists until last year. What? Tatum? They didn't give it to Tatum? That feels wrong. Or last night somebody texted me what? They didn't give it to Haliburton? Are you kidding me? So you're right. The finals MVP is way, way, way more important and remembered over time. So
for sure,
Haliburton will have the opportunity to do that, and it's going to be a tough test. Oklahoma City, 68-win team, one of the highest net ratings in NBA history. I know them all too well. They beat my team in a 7-game series, and it's a fascinating matchup because you have the number 1 offense in the NBA against the number 1 defense, and also probably the 2 deepest teams.
Yeah,
they're really the only 2 teams in the playoffs that you see consistently go 10 deep. And I mean, my team, the Nuggets, go 6.5 deep. So that'll be a really interesting chess match between Mark Daigneault and Rick Carlisle on how they played those pieces. But if you look at it, Indiana since Christmas, they had a terrible start to the year. Haliburton didn't play well. Nembhard was hurt. Nesmith was hurt. It looked like they might miss the playoffs or be in the play-in. But dating back to Christmas, their net rating has been not on par with OKC, but they are they're in the ballpark, and that's a long sample size that they've proven that they're one of the best teams in the league, if not one of the two best teams in the league. And I think that has just been proven night in, night out in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think even if you're not a fan of either team here, of course, there are going to be people around the country that are going to look at Indiana, Oklahoma City, and kind of frown upon that when it comes to the NBA Finals. Like, that's probably not their ideal matchup, even for places like ESPN or whoever, but you don't have that traditional New York, Boston, LA team. But I think just on paper, as you mentioned, just how deep both of these teams are, it's fantastic. There's still plenty of star power across the board. I think it's going to be really just a really good fight. I don't know. I could see this one going to 7. I wouldn't be shocked to see these two teams make it all the way to 7 games here. But I think it's going to be a really fun next couple of weeks for the NBA.
The other fascinating matchup part is, so I'm sure we have plenty of listeners that don't watch the NBA religiously, and that's okay. OKC is, if you put Iowa State men's basketball defensively on steroids. They play like early aughts ball defense, diving on the floor for loose balls, getting in your grill, taking charges. Like they're probably the most physical defense that we've seen in the NBA dating back to like the 04 Pistons, the Ben Wallace. So that is what you're getting with OKC in the finals. And Tyrese Haliburton, he doesn't turn the ball over. Like that's what his strength is. So it is just full on my best versus your best. And OKC has so many guys that they can throw at Haliburton on the perimeter. Caruso, Lou Dort, Kaysen Wallace. Shea is probably a pretty overrated defender, but he can hold his own. Like they have those 3 guys that I just named right there. Those are 3 of maybe the 10 best perimeter defenders in the entire sport. And then you have at center Chet Holmgren, who's statistically one of the best shot blockers the sport's ever seen. Isaiah Hartenstein, like it'll be a challenge for the best offense in the league. And I'm really, really fascinated to see how that holds up, and honestly, how it's officiated too, because it's garbage. Don't get me started. I just got myself started.
Oh gosh. No, but it's going to give an opportunity for a guy like Tyrese to even make a name further for himself, because he's been great, as I mentioned, this postseason so far. Had a great Eastern Conference Finals as well. But to play, if he can play like he has been playing this postseason on the NBA Finals level, like that is like everybody is watching the finals. And of course, I'm sure everybody was also watching the Eastern Conference Finals too, but it's a whole nother ball game, and it's going to really help cement his name really just in the game itself, because now you win an NBA Finals MVP, that's there forever. Same with bringing home a title, like that's there forever. So these are really huge opportunities for his legacy moving forward. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the Pacers maybe down the road playing another finals. So hopefully this isn't going to be his only opportunity to win a championship.
To me, it's not the exact same feeling as when Brock Purdy and the 49ers were in the Super Bowl. I feel like there's less pressure on Haliburton than that, but I do think it's just as much of an opportunity. Like, if Haliburton is able to go out and do that, the spot that the NBA is in right now, LeBron's 40, Steph is 37, Zion and Ja flamed out for more reasons than one. It's starting to look like Anthony Edwards has had 2 rough conference finals in a row. It's hard to market foreign superstars. Luka, Jokic, those guys just aren't in the media a ton. Giannis, again, it's just hard to market those foreign superstars. And the NBA is in a spot right now where they're entering an era where they don't know who the face of the league is going to be. And whether or not Iowa State fans like it, Haliburton is probably considered a villain by most. it's still weird to me because he is such a likable guy, but he's cocky, he talks trash, and a lot of people don't like that, especially when his team is winning. So if Haliburton is able to go out and win an NBA Finals, there is a chance that he could be the face of the league, one of the faces of the league, one of the young guys, because he's only 25, one of the young guys that bridges the gap into the next era for the NBA. And it's not like he isn't proud of his Iowa State roots either. Like, he's, as far as NBA players go, I feel like I never see any player repping their alma mater more than Haliburton does. And that is, I mean, that just goes, that goes without saying how big and how important that is for Iowa State.
Yeah, and you're right about that, because I think he's already there. I think he already is one of the faces of the league right now. He might not be like a top 5 face of the league, but he's definitely on his way there. And again, winning a title could really help put him in that big position to be one of the faces for the future, because you're right. He is only 25. A lot of the other stars are getting older, so we'll see what happens. But I'm looking forward to the next starts Thursday, doesn't it?
Yep. The schedule was set in stone regardless of how far the series went. So they'll get a few off days. Thunder have been off since Friday, I believe. They'll be fresh. Just from a pure legacy standpoint, though, if Haliburton's able to get this done, I think it would be probably the most impressive run altogether since Dirk, considering who they've had to go through, who they beat. I mean, I'm not a LeBron guy, never have been, but what LeBron did against the Warriors in 2016 in that specific series is crazy, but it's not like the East was tough that year. I'd compare what Haliburton has done so far, maybe not to Dirk's level, but to get them to the finals through Giannis, through a 64-win team at home, to beat the Knicks, and if they're able to take down the Thunder, it would be one of the best and most improbable runs in NBA history. There you can see, if you're watching us on YouTube or on Spotify, the NBA Finals schedule. The Pacers will win in Game 7 on June 22nd. That's a Sunday.
Oh, man.
Sunday night on ABC.
So you got Pacers in 7?
I do.
Okay. I hope they win at 6. It'd be cool for them to win in Indiana, but I'll take any win there. So if they win in 7, they win in 7. I'll take that too.
What's unique is they've almost been better on the road. I know the last example we have of that was them getting smoked at Madison Square Garden, but they have been really, really good on the road these playoffs. And Haliburton especially, his numbers have been better on the road than at home. And if they're able to just go out and steal Game 1 or Game 2, that's where your added advantage as a road team is. You just know we only got to go get one. And if we can get one, we flip the momentum, then you just got to come home and defend home court. It'll be excited. I'll be locked in. I won't be as nervous as like my team playing in the NBA Finals, but I'm already starting to feel the jitters. Like it'd be really, really good for Iowa State. And it'd be easily the biggest accomplishment of any former Iowa State athlete at a professional level.
For sure. Until Brock wins a Super Bowl. But yes, you're right.
Well, with all that money he's making, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Sorry, Matt Van Winkle.
Oh, gosh.
Got to pay your left tackle somehow, and when 75% of your cap is going to your quarterback, no, I'm playing. The Niners, I think they'll be back, but I don't think this will be the year for them to win the Super Bowl. I'd like to thank a couple more of our sponsors. Colin Newell. You're not cool if you're not with Newell. Farm Bureau Financial Services. Reach out to him today. Colin, that is 1 L in Colin, 2 L's in Newell. Reach out to him and set up a meeting to get your finances in check, and then you can talk some Cyclone football with him, former Iowa State center in the Brock Purdy years. I'd also like to thank Kilderman Manufacturing. If you got a truck, you need to go douche that thing up. I met Kelderman. I met him at I think a Circa event at Wellman's a couple months back. He's everything as advertised. That is a man's man right there. Thank you to Kelderman Manufacturing, the Iowa State University Foundation. Go support what matters at the Iowa State University Foundation. Truly, any of your passions at Iowa State, you can go support them. The Ivy College of Business, again, it's the most important thing you can do. No matter what industry you're going into or what industry you're in, a business degree or a master of business is always a good idea. And if you are looking to do that, the Ivy College of Business is the best place to do it in the state. And finally, Wyffels Hybrids. Thank you to Wyffels Hybrid for supporting Williams and Blum here on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network. And speaking of Wyffels Hybrid, we're going to get into our Wyffels Hybrid Big 12 segment. The Big 12 meetings, are they wrapped up, Derek, or are they wrapping up today?
I believe they wrapped up on Friday, if I remember correctly.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
they're already done in Orlando. I guess Florida's the popular place to have spring meetings.
Yeah, that's, when I think Orlando, or when I think Big 12, I think Orlando.
Yeah, well, the SEC, I think, does what they do there in Destin. They went to Destin, so it's the same way. You don't think Destin when you think of the SEC, but I think these places like to go somewhere, these conferences like to go somewhere warm. So, and I guess the beach, I don't know. Maybe Orlando was the cheap, probably for the Big 12, the Orlando was just happened to be the cheapest flight on that particular weekend. So that's probably why they did it.
Yeah, they should have just
saved money.
Did they carpool? Did Campbell pick up Kleiman on the way?
Oh, that would be hilarious.
I know it's a little bit out of the way, but
oh yeah,
gotta save.
That would be hilarious.
Gotta preserve money. So not much came out of these Big 12 meetings. Some of the new information was Yormark declined. I'm blanking on the word for it, but pretty much private equity. He said that's not going to happen. He also said probably not going to sell a sponsorship for the name of the Big 12, which I think that's a good move. I know they got to make money, but if it was the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Conference, nobody's saying the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Conference.
Or
it's
the
still
Buc-ee's
just going to be the Big 12
Conference. Could have been the Buc-ee's Big 12 Conference. I thought that would have been cool, but
yeah. I think it's a good move to keep whatever tradition we have gone. Maybe now would be the time. It'd screw up our podcast on Iowa Everywhere, but maybe now would be the time, if ever, to change the conference name altogether, because I don't think we're ever getting back to 12 teams, but
no,
I think just keeping it as is the right move.
And it doesn't, even though it's going to make you more money, I feel like changing the name of the Big 12 and putting a sponsorship in front of it kind of cheapens it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it would hurt. It would hurt. It would look a little, but I understand the conference does need money. And speaking of money, I told you before the show, we had the conference, some of the distribution numbers roll out. So that was kind of one of the positive things to me that came out of Orlando. I think the conference distributed $558 million for the 24-25 season, which of course is a new record for the conference. Last year, the year before, with Texas and Oklahoma, they did $470 million. Now, we'll say that number was not, of course, evenly distributed. BYU, Houston, UCF, and Cincinnati, they received their partial shares. I think estimated around $19 million here. So, and then, of course, the original schools had the larger share. But one thing that's going to change next year for all 16 teams, because every team next year is going to get a full and equal share. So that was the good news to me, kind of coming out of Orlando.
Yeah, that's all good stuff. I know a lot of it has to do with the new TV deal starting, but it is good to see that even though Texas and OU are gone, the money's still going up. And again, the money is not going up at the same rate as it is for the SEC or the Big Ten, but it's better to have your money going up than it is going down. I don't think we need to expand on that too much. That goes without saying. The other thing that it's been a topic for a couple weeks now, they talked about playoff format. It's inevitable that we're going to go to 16 teams. I'm not going to rant about that. I've done that enough. But at this point, there's just the argument of should it be 5 auto buys and then 11 at-large bids? The 5 auto bids would go to the 5 highest-ranked conference champs, or should it be this new proposed 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten, 2 Big 12, 2 ACC, 1 group of 6, and then 3 at-larges? And Yormark pretty heavily stated that he is in favor of the 5-11 model. And he said it might not be the best for the Big 12, but he thinks it's what's best for college football. I could not agree more that I think that's what's best for college football. But what I'm wondering is, if we're looking at it just from the Big 12's best interest, which format is better? Because I could see arguments for both sides. Which side are you on, Derek?
It goes both ways, because you're right. He's been pushing the 5-11 model, which you have the 5 highest ranked conference champions getting automatic bids and then leaving the rest to the committee. To me, that's a model that makes a team earn that automatic bid, because what if the SEC and the Big Ten have a down year, and do we need 4 teams in from them? But people also need to realize that in that model, the Big 12 does get 2 automatic bids if we let the SEC and the Big Ten kind of have their way, which means you look over the next 5 years, and that model, the Big 10 or the Big 12 is going to get 10 bids in 5 years, guaranteed every single year. But let's be realistic here. Without that model, would the Big 12 get in 10 schools in a 5-year period? I'm not sure they would.
Exactly. So, that's where I'm at.
Yormark is taking a bit of a risk here, but he has said all along he wants to do right by the sport. So, and that's one thing we've kind of harped about on the other show is Greg Sankey and the SEC school presidents, they don't care about what is good or for college football, period. He wants his automatic bids, his play-in games. It's going to guarantee them a ton of revenue, which is, of course, all they care about. But the 5-11 model for them may work just as well in their favor, because they might have years where they get 5 or 6 teams in from the SEC. So I just find it hilarious that people from that conference don't trust the committee anymore after a few 3-loss teams got left out.
So stupid.
It was probably the first time in history where the SEC didn't have the benefit of the doubt, because every year the playoffs, since this whole thing has started, the SEC has gotten their way. Every single moment. I mean, nobody created this amount of backlash when Florida State didn't get in when they were undefeated, and I think Alabama, whoever got in front of them. So, but I will say that the Big 12 proposed model, the 5-11, it appears to be like gaining some steam. Yormark even said some SEC coaches and liked it. Some others did too. So I hope that he's right, because to me, that would be the best thing for college football right now. Out of all the models that are proposed out there, to me, that's the most fair one.
It's definitely the most fair. I'm trying to think. Like last year, I think the Big 12 would have gotten 2 and maybe even 3 in that model, because BYU would have made it.
Yes.
And that's where it's going to be so fascinating looking forward. In a scenario where it's a 4-way tie at the top for first, and none of the 4 teams play each other essentially, and BYU doesn't have a chance to play themselves into the playoff, they would have made it in last, and they might have been in a better spot than Iowa State, because they were idle and didn't lose by 30. And that's where I think it'll be interesting going forward. And I mean, we already know the cards are stacked against the Big 12 and the majority of the ACC and all the group of 6. We get that. But I do think this auto bid model would be better in a vacuum for the Big 12, but I'm on Yormark's side. I am completely in favor of the 5-11. Just please, for the good of the sport, do not go to an all auto bid system.
Yeah, I really hope we don't get there, but unfortunately, it's really not up to us. It's going to be up to the Big Ten, the SEC, and those conferences. But you just hope that we can kind of get everybody in agreement, do what's best for the sport, and kind of just move on from this. Because I'm kind of like you, Jake. I'm at the point where I'm really getting sick and tired of talking about the SEC, the Big Ten, and their problems, and just how much they want to control the sport. And just let everybody else who is not in their conference just suffer along the way, and they're going to face the repercussions because no matter what happens, it really doesn't matter what model we get at this point. You just know who's going to get the benefit of the doubt in these pairings. So it's going to be the Big Ten, the SEC. They're going to get their teams in. The Big 12 is going to be fighting for probably 2 to maybe 3 spots if they're lucky on any given year.
We need football.
Yes.
We need football so bad.
Oh, are you ready for Ireland? You got your bags packed yet?
I do not have my bags packed, but I got my flight booked. I've got like a picture of Guinness on my wall that I look at every night. I can't wait to drink a true authentic Irish Guinness. We're like 11 weeks away, I think. 11 or 12 weeks away. From week 0. It can't come soon enough.
Still a ways away. We still got the whole
can't
summer,
talk about Greg
media
Sankey.
days.
I can't talk about Greg Sankey at all. I just can't do it.
God, I hope Greg Sankey just has a miserable summer. I hope he gets sunburnt and destined.
Yeah, I hope he got just fried. Completely fried. And I know Matt Campbell, he'll be coming back from the Big 12 meetings, and he will be so tan. That guy, there's never been a coach that it's more obvious when he goes on vacation, because Campbell comes back and he's always so tan heading into fall camp. I love it it's just, I'm like, good for Matt, because he's about to go in a bunker for the better part of like 6 months. Won't be heard from.
That's true. It's hard for me to see Matt Campbell take a vacation. That does not look like a vacation. I know he's a family man. He's a great guy. I just don't strike him as a guy that's just going to kick up his feet and just have like a 6-pack of beer.
Well, because there's 2 Matt Campbells. That's true. In season, in bunker, give you nothing at press conference for the most part, Matt Campbell. And then there's Matt Campbell. And those two versions are, I mean, why he's been so successful. But I don't even know how we got talking to this. I think because our hatred of Greg Sankey. Yeah.
Damn Greg Sankey.
So we're going to do a couple fun things now. It'll be similar to our show on Iowa Everywhere. If you haven't checked that out, please do. I'd like to say that we have a specific day and time, but just look for it on the Iowa Everywhere Podcast Network. Aiden is going to come in, and he's got an Iowa State trivia question. He's going to ask Derek, and I mean, hopefully I can get it right. I'd like to think, but we'll see.
I struggle on the other show on this, so I am hoping I do better on this topic here.
All right, so we're talking Heisman Trophy. Iowa State. Yeah, well, actually, can you name how many Iowa State players have finished top 10 in Heisman voting?
Oh,
bonus points if you can name them.
Well, one's got to be Troy Davis. Troy Davis is on that list, so I know that one. Gosh, beyond that, boy, I'm going to look like a fool in front of this entire network here because I don't know my Iowa State football history. I'm going to guess probably, 3? Oh, no, you know what? I'll say 4. I'll say 4
Jake?
players.
Yeah, I was going to say 3, but there's probably someone I'm forgetting. Troy Davis, Breece Hall, Seneca.
Was Breece was on the list,
Seneca.
right?
No
Breece
Seneca.
was on the list. Okay.
Yep.
So is it only 2?
It's 4.
Is it 4?
Boom.
It's 4.
I got 4. Now, I couldn't name the 4, but I got 4.
Okay, let me... It wasn't Todd Blythe, was it?
No. No, you need to go way back.
I figured the last 25 years, there's probably only been one, which was Brees Hall.
We're shown to be some Johnny-come-latelys.
Yeah.
Can't believe you guys don't remember Dwight Nichols back in 1959.
Oh, God.
The other one was George Amundsen.
Okay, I should have known that.
Yeah, I can
Iowa
safely
State's
say
last first-round pick before
none of us were
before
born.
Will McDonald.
Yeah, none of us were born back in the 70s or the 50s. Yeah, that's way
Dwight
past our
Nichols.
time. Put some respect on his name, man.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Some family of his could be watching.
All right, so over on Bigger Than 12, we've been drafting. I mean, we've been just doing drafts in the offseason. We've done Big 12 coaches, stadiums. And then a couple weeks ago, we got on logos. And last week, we did alternate logos. And we had a disagreement on what is the best Iowa State alternate logo. Or throwback logo, I should say.
I think a big disagreement.
Yeah, it was a big disagreement. And today, we're just going to draft the Iowa State logos. I think we're going to go 4 each, which will get us... It'll get us away from a lot of those late 1800s ones. Not to... If anyone was around for the late 1800s and remembered their Fighting Iowa State Cyclones, we're probably not going to draft those logos. But maybe if you want to, Derek, maybe I'm playing mind games. Maybe I am going to take them, and I'm not tipping my hand. But
I think we could go 5. I'd say 5. 5's a good number. That will
5. Okay, all right.
That will exclude some of the ones from the early or the late 1800s, early 1900s. So.
Okay, we'll do that. So Aiden is going to flip a coin. Hopefully, it doesn't crash our stream.
A real coin, not a virtual coin. If he has one ready.
I do. Sorry to grab one quick. Today we are represented by Pennsylvania.
All right. I'm in Pennsylvania. Maybe that's good luck for me.
There you go. All right, Derek, call it in the air.
Tails.
It's heads.
Dang. Twice. Oh boy.
All right.
I know what you want already, so I already know what you want. So you can take it. You can have it.
It's on my ankle. That tattoo hurt. There's so many details on Walking Psy. It's my first pick. Dude, I remember I was biting into a towel for like an hour.
Was it worth the pain?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's going to be there forever, and it's the best.
That's true.
It's my favorite logo in sports, and it's the best Iowa State logo. Number 1, easiest pick of my life.
Well, so I got 2 picks now since you got the first pick. So it really doesn't matter which order I take these in, but I'm going to go with the logo from 84 to 94, the beautiful like retro Iowa State logo. I absolutely love that thing. That to me is my favorite Iowa State logo of all time.
I screwed
love
this
that
draft
logo.
up. I should have given you the first pick.
Yeah, because you knew we weren't going to pick the same one. So.
Yeah, I totally screwed that up. Gosh,
I love that one. That is my favorite Iowa State logo. Please bring that back along with the helmet cart, please. The next one, kind of following the theme with the Cyclones here, I'm going to go the one from 95 to 2008, the Clone NATO. I kind of grew up when I was watching Big 12 football in my early years. I always recognized Iowa State with that logo. I thought it was so cool they had that on their helmets. It was one of my favorites, still is one of my favorites to this day. So maybe kind of a childhood pick here that brings me back some memories, but I'm going to go with the Clone NATO for my second pick.
Yeah, I totally screwed this draft up.
Boy, you still got plenty of options. Yeah, plenty.
I know, but
the block I is still there for you to take.
Give me a break. I'm going to take the Ames logo. It's been brought back recently from 1910 to 1929. That is the Jack Trice era. The throwback uniforms, other than the pants that they brought back for TCU for the 100th anniversary of Jack Trice a couple of years ago, the helmets were the best part. The Ames logo, it's awesome. And For my next pick, I'll be going with the 1965 to 1977 walking Cy. Not as good as the original walking Cy, or not the original, but the next walking Cy. But I do like the flag in the mouth. It's still a good logo.
I don't mind that one. See, I actually prefer that walking Cy over the other walking
You're
Cy, the one on
insane.
your ankle.
You're
I don't know.
insane.
I like it. I like the little ISU pennant he's got flying. I don't mind it. So should put that one. You could still put that on your ankle if you just get the pennant. You could get that tatted,
Yeah,
added onto it, I guess. Although he's walking the wrong way.
it hurts so bad. I can't go back.
Oh gosh, the block eyes are still there for somebody to take. I don't think I'm gonna go there, but I'm gonna go with the A, the one before Ames, just the one in 1909. It's still a play on Ames, I'm assuming, so I do like that one. It almost looks like something out of like a comic book, like a Marvel movie or something. It might look like the Avengers. I don't know. To me, that one I do like. It's not as good as the Ames, just that word Ames, but you know what it means. You know what that logo stands
Yep.
for. I do like that one a whole lot. Oh boy. Oh gosh. Maybe we should have stopped before. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. Man, I don't know. I almost want to just take the other A, but I don't know if that would be right. I feel like I need to take one of the ISCs here. I'm going to do the one in the megaphone. Give me the one from 42 to 47. The ISC and the megaphone.
Beautiful
I
logo.
don't care. I'm not a big fan of this one, but out of what we have left, that's probably one of the better ones to take.
What did they do from 1959 to 1965? Because there's no logo in that stretch.
That's a good point. Where is that?
Maybe they just went logoless. They had from 1930 to 1960. They had such a bad run with logos that they're like,
Yeah.
you know what? I think nothing would be better than what we've had.
They just went the Penn State route
like,
with just blank everything.
They're like, we're just going to take some time. We're going to regroup, and we're going to come back in 5 years with another logo.
They probably
Plan?
had to after some of these.
Plan? Yeah. All right. Ready, break.
Oh, gosh.
So, all right. I suppose I'll take 1942 to 1940, or 1948 to 1956. Sorry. Is that a baseball bat?
I think it's a megaphone, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like one of those plastic baseball bats.
It does.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not much to expand on for this one. And do I want to screw up my graphic? No, I'm not going to do it.
I'm not. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I'll go with 1930 to 1941. Back when it was Iowa State College, you can see where they're going. At least it's unique. It's better than a few of the ones in the late 1800s, but certainly not the greatest logo of all time.
Man, there are some really rough ones here, but I'm going to go with the other A. I said it earlier. I'm going to go with the one from 1900 to 1908. I'm going to go with that A because that's the only one out of all the letters that are left that I feel like somewhat respectable and doesn't look like, I don't know. I'm not gonna crap all over the other logos, but that to me is the one that's left that I don't mind as much.
So no, that's our list, and no block eye state.
We refuse to acknowledge the block eye. We just refusing to acknowledge it exists.
Kind of similar to what happened to Shedeur Sanders. Probably should have gotten drafted, but there's no way in hell I'm dealing with that backlash.
Yeah, I already did that once on the other show, and that did not turn out so well, so I'm just going to stay away from the block eye from now on. Not making the same mistake twice.
I've won back-to-back polls.
Well, that's on another show. That didn't count. This is this show. It's a different show.
Aiden, thoughts on our abstinence from the Blockeye State?
No comment.
Pleading the fifth. Who had the better list? It was Derek.
He's
Derek's
probably not even
win.
going to say.
Yeah, Derek's first 2 picks are...
They're solid.
I screwed that
They're
up.
both S tier picks, man. So
It's because you got that thing tatted on your ankle. You got the walking sigh on your ankle, so you feel like you have to pick it because it's on your ankle.
Well, no, that's the best logo. I don't think you can go wrong with both of our first pick.
yes, agreed. I'm a walking side guy personally, but Derek with that logo from the 80s with the tornado sigh,
that was the key to this draft, and I totally botched that.
That was a chef's kiss
Oh my
pick
gosh.
right there. Yes. Hey,
I can't even
there's always
continue.
next time.
I can't even continue. I think we just got to end the show. I'm distraught at myself. Who knows?
Oh,
maybe
man.
maybe the people will come through for me. They'll see where my heart was at.
Hey, they're all the logos we picked. They're all good Iowa State logos, so I don't mind any of them.
Well, thanks to Williams. Thanks to Bloom for letting us fill in again. It's been fun. They'll be back
great show.
on Wednesday. I believe they'll be back on Wednesday. They'll be back.
Williams
they'll be back
never comes
eventually.
back.
Yeah. Williams might.
Be lost
Speaking
in
of
those
sunburnt.
arcs. Yeah.
Speaking of sunburnt, he's going to be a healthy mix between Greg Sankey and Matt Campbell probably when he gets back. But seriously, thanks to those guys for letting us fill in. Thanks to
Thank
Aiden
you.
Wyatt making it all possible. This has been Williams and Bloom on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.